Ahoy, ahoy! Welcome to another One Piece chapter review. We've got manga chapter 1113 titled Stalemate. We've got, as promised last week, this lovely cover page here. It's very nice. It's adapted cover request by a man who likes Yamato. Robin playing chess with the other Straw Hats as the pieces. So we've got very nice, huge Robin in the background. She's moving the piece that's Luffy. Looks like he's the king. He's in gear 5th. He's wearing a sword on his back. Nami is the queen, sitting on a throne with a crown on her head, wearing a white gown. Usopp is a bishop. He's drawing a bow and arrow. We've got Brook. He's another bishop. He's drinking tea. Jinbei is a rook. Chopper is the pawn. So we've got lots of Chopper in various gear. Zoro and Sanji are knights. Zoro's riding a black horse. Sanji's riding a white horse. Frankie is another rook. Frankie is the castle, so he's kind of looking a bit like Big Father. While Jinbei is in armor, and he's sitting inside of the castle for his rook piece. Very nice. Notes from Oda. Isn't Seiho Ishii supermarket great? They have all the best Kazuchichi snacks around. All sorts of roasted sweet potatoes and kimchi too. Oda talking about food. The world's largest brain. Punk Records. So we've got a shot of Punk Records. The mind of a genius. It looks like we're going back to the recording. Now then, while my coffee could use more time to cool, it's probably safe to assume that we've given people sufficient time to set up their video transponders, snails. T-minus 30 seconds, Stella. Getting nervous. We'll be broadcasting to the entire world. And this is Mars speaking, watching as the broadcast is still going on. It continues to live even after your death. Is this your true self, Vegapunk? So yeah, the broadcast is continuing. And there is Punk Records. And it's a giant dome, and inside of it is the actual top of Vegapunk's skull, which is really interesting. And it's hooked up to all sorts of wires and tubes coming out of it. So what this confirms is that Vegapunk didn't divide his brain up and put it inside of the Stellas. It is indeed, the entire top of his head is Punk Records, inside of Punk Records, in this dome here. And I suppose it broadcasts knowledge to the other Vegapunks, which is why they are satellites. So, in theory, would it be that if we destroyed Punk Records here, would that destroy all the knowledge the other Vegapunks have? I think they did explain that a little bit earlier on in the chapters, was something about them connecting to Punk Records to download data and upload their knowledge and download knowledge that the other Vegapunks had acquired. So destroying Punk Records probably wouldn't destroy the knowledge that all of the other Vegapunks have. It would just destroy their ability to get greater knowledge from Punk Records. So this is still, I believe, Mars talking. And again, what is death to something like this? Is your consciousness even housed here? The broadcast is still going. Indeed, this footage will eventually reach the entire world. I take pride in that connection. But sharing this is also a great burden, and it shows Saturn walking up to the transponder snail that was broadcasting. It looks like he's about to step on it and destroy it. No way, you don't have one, Kaya-san? We thought you'd be the one person in the village who would. Syrup Village, Usopp's hometown in the East Blue. Here's Mary. Do you realize how big video transponder snails are? They've got Kaya, the regular little transponder snail, and it has a little Mary on its shell. We've got carrot, pepper, and onion there. It's rather large. It's rather larger than your average house pet. Now allow me to fetch the tea. Then there's Kaya. Dr. Vegapunk is a legend in the medical field too, you know. I know all about it. As if, you big liar. Carrot, pepper. You should take Dr. Vegapunk's research more seriously. Now we've got some naval officers recording. It'll be starting shortly. Twin Cape, there's Laboon and Crocus, and they're listening on a regular transponder snail. The futuristic island of Baltimore, Vegapunk's hometown. You mean he was really born here? You betcha. He's Baltimore's pride and joy. Wasn't he responsible for the nightmare of Baltimore? No, that was Frankie. I heard he's turned himself into a ship now. We've got the people that Frankie stayed with while Baltimore talking. How many years has it been now, Vegapunk? Birdie Kingdom, where Chopper studied in the South Blue. Seems it's about the island where Tanukichi is. Roar! A king of modern science, but his smarts have also been used to make many weapons. Hachinosu, the pirate island in a new world. Quiet down, you scallywags. That Vega fellow is gonna speak. So what? You crossed me earlier. I ain't letting that slide. Just to listen to some old fossil, matey. So we've got pirates all over Hachinosu, fighting and arguing as some of them trying to listen to the broadcast. Got more shots. We've got shots of, I think, the revolutionaries, perhaps? And some other citizens. Can you hear me? Then we're back to Egghead in the New World. Testing, testing. This is Vegapunk. Attention world. Then Mars realizing after he stepped on the shell, it shattered it. It's an ordinary transponder snail under the shell of the special transponder snail. An ordinary transponder snail? That means this is no mere hiding place then. You wanted to fool me with a decoy. Curse you, Vegapunk. Now Mars is transformed back into his animal form. He's flying out. Hello there, out there. Stella, we already had an introduction when we did the signal tracking part. I know that. Fine then, we'll get started without further ado. Alright, let's hear it already. Who knows what's coming? What's up? A very important man is making an announcement. Just go back to bed, dear. Mars, and he's thinking. It hasn't stopped yet. Mars, what are you doing? Oh, it's not Mars thinking, it's Mars getting telepathic communication from the other elders. It hasn't stopped yet. Mars, what are you doing? My apologies, that wretched Vegapunk. He was much more cautious than we gave him credit for. There is currently no stopping this broadcast. It's impossible to determine how much he actually knows or what he intends to say now, but York told us he wished to carry the torch of the O'Haran scholars. This won't be a repeat of Clover. He means to finish what O'Hara started. I've got close-ups of all of the elders' faces. And we got a flashback of them giving the order to kill Clover. Clover getting shot. Now we're back to Vegapunk and Sanji. Vegapunk, did you hear that? It was the sweet girl crying out. Bonnie-chan needs me. What is that thing? Jewelry Bonnie. We will not surrender our military might to you. Get back, Bonnie. Out of the way, Frankie, huh? If anyone's gonna pull off an impressive rescue of Bonnie, it'll be me. So, V. Nostro was rearing up, trying to attack Bonnie. Frankie leaped in the way to protect her. Then Sanji leaped in the way and delivered a huge kick to Nostro. Let's see. Yeah, he repelled off the blade of the sword and leaped up and kicked Nostro, and actually he is rather Venus is rather massive actually, but I suppose all the elders are really massive. So a huge kick, uppercut to the jaw. He's still holding Vegapunk. We're not gonna cut you slack just because you're senile. This is a pirate's fight, you geezer. Wah! And then he transforms his head into the horse head and chomps on Sanji. Crush snap. Sanji. What's that? I confess that. It's starting. Oimu, hold him down. With pleasure, Kashi. I've committed 2 grave sins. Okay, so after Venus Jiro transformed his head into the horse head and chomped on Sanji, Oimu and Kashi grabbed him and are holding him down, and now Sanji's falling out of his mouth. The broadcast is continuing. Vegapunk, I confess that I've committed 2 grave sins. Now we've got Atlas carrying Vegapunk. Distorted future. What the heck? Is that Jewelry Bonnie? So Bonnie is doing her distorted future attack and she's inflating herself. And naval officers are looking on. Give me a giantish future. And now Bonnie is giant. I believe that I will soon be executed for my transgressions. So this message will be programmed to broadcast the second my heart stops beating. Now back Shibondi Archipelago. You can't be serious. Wait, does that mean he's already dead? There's Duval. It can't be. He was all over the papers just this morning. They said he's being held hostage by the Straw Hat Pirates. I refuse to accept this. And we've got the Germa 66 Kingdom. You're lying, you bastard. You can't just die. We just teamed up so we can surpass you. And we've got Caesar Clown and Judge in the background. There's Morgan's. Hey, what's the big idea with this massive broadcast? Is he trying to kill print media? Even so, I want to make one thing clear, and I pray you understand this. Please do not assume the ones who struck me down are evil, regardless of who they seem to be. Please do not assume that the ones who struck me down are evil, regardless of who they seem to be. I do not intend to discuss right and wrong here. And now we go back to Saturn climbing on the cloud, where Nami, Usopp, and Chopper and Robin are. Yeah, leave us alone. I'm not qualified to judge such things, and I do not know nearly enough about him in any case. Vegapunk. Step aside, I have no time to deal with vermin like you. So Saturn is trying to get past the Straw Hats. So I guess Saturn is looking to try and stop the broadcast. And there's Robin. That voice. I see. That is quite an audacious hypothesis. So Robin hears the voice of Saturn, recognizes the voice from her childhood, hearing the broadcast conversation between Clover and the elders. So she has a flashback and remembers overhearing that. Saturn sees her. You must be Nico Robin, the woman Akainu let slip through his fingers. The impotent fool. And Robin thinks he's one of the 5 elders? What are you talking about? Says Nami. And she looks back towards Robin. Then Nami screams, "Protect Robin!" And Saturn is aiming his claw. We'll keep you safe no matter what. Nami leaps and grabs Robin. She uses her climb attack. And Zeus comes out shaped like a mace and blocks the claw. And we've got Usopp sniping and Brook. And Chopper turning into his guard point. Move, you filthy insects. Now we're back to Saturn. This is futile. There are far too many life forms in the vicinity of the laboratory. I cannot sense any unique telepathic waves. Now we've got York. Think. If this keeps up, they won't let me be a celestial dragon. I'm a Vegapunk too. So where would I hide it? Now back to the broadcast. That said, it is still my duty to ensure that everyone is aware of the situation. Now we've got the elders. Perhaps we should consider destroying the power station to this? That is out of the question. The nearby marines, ships, and equipment aren't the only things we stand to lose in the blast. We would also be sacrificing our one and only means of replicating our success with the mother frame. Now we've got Vegapunk. Our world is going to sink into the ocean. What? Cut to the chase. Our world is going to sink into the ocean. What? A confession, a shocking prediction, chapter 113 end. And the last shot is mermaids. So is this Fishman Island or close to Fishman Island? But of all the things Vegapunk could have announced, that is actually really big. our world is going to sink into the ocean. So the world is sinking. All the land masses on the planet are sinking into the ocean. So why are all the land masses sinking into the ocean? Or is this a prediction that all at once something's going to happen that's going to plunge all the land masses into the ocean? Interesting. So there's only two things he could mean. The first question is it gradual or an immediate sink? The way it's phrased is our world is going to sink into the ocean. The problem is that can be interpreted as our world is sinking, currently sinking, and ultimately is going to sink into the ocean. Or it could be interpreted as our world is not sinking right now, but something's going to happen that will cause it to sink into the ocean. But, so does the world's going to sink into the ocean? So, what is the world government doing to stop this sinking? Are they doing anything to stop the world from sinking into the ocean? Then this also connects back to because let's see. I was recently watching a little bit of the Water 7 arc and talking about the Aqua Laguna and how Water 7 is sinking. Their island, their entire landmass, is sinking into the ocean. So is that connected? Is Water 7 sinking because the entire planet is sinking into the ocean? When we were going through that arc, it seemed like that was just unique to Water 7. But it might not be unique to Water 7. It might have been Water 7 forecasting that actually all the land masses on the planet are sinking into the ocean. I'm trying to think of any other locations where so Water 7 presents an argument for all of the land masses are currently gradually sinking into the ocean, or Water 7 is a unique case and something is going to happen that will cause the world to sink into the ocean. Does this connect to the prophecy of Fishman Island being destroyed? Let's see. Fishman Island is under Mary Joie. It's under the red line. So, if the red line sinks into the ocean, it would fall onto Fishman Island and destroy it? The world government has to have an interest in stopping the land masses from sinking into the ocean because humans can only exist on the land. They would have nothing to rule if everything sunk into the ocean. And considering that the five elders, the people at the very top of the world, are all devil fruit eaters, it's possible Eem could be a devil fruit eater. But, so at the end of this chapter, we know that Vegapunk's announcement is most likely going to continue in the next chapter. And thankfully we're not looking at a break, so we're going to get more on that. Of all the revolutions Vegapunk could have dropped, this one is on face value, on face first reaction, it's the most sort of unexpected thing. But it does sort of protect Robin's quest, because the information Vegapunk is giving is about the state of the world. He's not going to talk about, let's see, and he did give an interesting line before making that announcement. He said, let's see, where is it? Nickname sins, transgressions, heart stops beating. Yeah. Please do not assume that the ones who strike me down are evil, regardless of who they seem to be. Please do not assume that the ones who strike me down are evil, regardless of who they seem to be. Does Vegapunk know that the Celestial Dragons are the ones who are coming to kill him? He has to know at this point, 100%. So he's telling the world not to assume that the people who strike him down are evil. There's a lot of ways to interpret this. One way is that Vegapunk anticipates that the Celestial Dragons will kill him and try to blame some other party. So they'll say pirates killed him, or most likely it would be pirates killed him. So he's protecting the pirates who would eventually be framed for his death. That's one interpretation. Other interpretation is he knows that the Celestial Dragons, the world government, Marines will be sent to kill him. He will be killed, and he's telling the world not to blame the Marines, the Celestial Dragons, for killing him, which is an even bigger and weirder question there. Why would he be protecting them? He does continue that he doesn't intend to discuss right and wrong here. So it could just be that Vegapunk is looking at this from a purely scientific, neutral viewpoint. He's going to be killed. It doesn't really matter who kills him or why they kill him. The important thing is the message that the world is going to sink. I'm not qualified to judge such things, and I do not know nearly enough about him in any case. Do not know nearly enough about him in any case. I do not intend to discuss right and wrong here. I'm not qualified to judge such things, and I do not know nearly enough about him in any case. Him? Who is him? Some of you may think me a madman or even an idiot. I'm sure what I'm about to say will be hard to accept. That said, it's my duty to ensure everyone is aware of this issue. Our world is going to sink into the ocean. So there's another mystery about who this him is. He's referencing a him as in this is a person related to his death or related to the state of the world, possibly. Is he referencing Eam or is he referencing Joy Boy? If he's referencing Eam, there's a confirmation that Eam is a guy and Vegapunk is aware of Eam being the ruler of the world and the one that orders around the world government and the forces controlling the planet. Or he's referring to Joy Boy, but if he's referring to Joy Boy, it doesn't seem he would be referring to Joy Boy because Joy Boy is not connected to the world government. Vegapunk couldn't have known that Joy Boy would be involved in his death. So it couldn't be Joy Boy unless he's referring to Joy Boy as being responsible for deciding what's good and evil in the world. That doesn't seem like that would be the case. The most likely case is that he's talking about something related to the world government. He might be talking about Eam. He might be talking about a character that hasn't been introduced. But he's definitely saying in the announcement he's being neutral. He's not talking about the world government or the pirates or what's right or what's wrong. He's just saying that the world is dealing with a crisis, that the landmass is going to sink into the ocean. So if he's not talking about Joy Boy or Eam, it's hard to say who else he could possibly be talking about. So it kind of feels like it would be him in relation to the world sinking into the ocean. I'm not qualified to judge such things. I do not know nearly enough about him in any case. Also, there's the question about, like, from all the legends and stories about Joy Boy is an unquestionably a good character, at least when you look at the majority of the people that relay that legend. Joy Boy is good. The only people that consider him bad are the people of the world government. Specifically the elders, because I don't think the regular celestial dragons know about Joy Boy. It's possible that they do. Kaido knew about Joy Boy. The Marines don't seem to know about Joy Boy. Him. In any case. Understand this? Okay. And that 10 that's right around here. Do not know about him. Also, it's interesting to note that Saturn, when he recognizes Nico Robin, he says that's the woman that Akainu let slip through his fingers. It's probably because the world government gave Akainu special orders to kill everyone that was getting off of Ohara at the time, make sure there were 0 survivors. So they blame Akainu for Robin getting away, rather than placing the blame on Aokiji, probably because they knew they couldn't really trust Aokiji to be dedicated to slaughtering every single person on the island. So that's something to note, is that the blame for Robin's escape falls on Akainu's head in the eyes of the elders at least. The world is sinking into the ocean. There's also the question of the ancient kingdom. The ancient kingdom was wiped out. However, the landmass where the ancient kingdom once stood, it doesn't seem to be anywhere in the One Piece world that we've seen so far. It used to be, the line of thinking was that just it hasn't been found yet. It's an undiscovered landmass somewhere. Now, I'm wondering if that's connected to the world sinking. What if in the war with the ancient kingdom, the remnants, predecessors of the world government, in their quest to destroy the ancient kingdom, triggered something for the sake of destroying the ancient kingdom that would in time destroy all the land on the planet. That is a possibility, that they triggered something for the sake of destroying the ancient kingdom that would eventually destroy everything. And because they didn't think about it at the time, it's sort of been a ticking time bomb all this time, from the 900 years ago to today. But then there's the question of, why would the world government hide this information? I mean, there's the sort of surface obvious reason that it would create panic among the people. The people wouldn't have any faith in the power structures of the world government. So there's that. But without people in the world having that knowledge, there doesn't seem to be any consorted massive effort to find a solution or stop the world from sinking, which I would think is something that the world government would want in the end. Because even as far up as Mary Joie, that will sink eventually. The only place that won't sink would be the Cloud Islands. And Mary Joie is not a cloud island. It's on a landmass. It's land. So it's in danger of sinking. So why would there be no interest in stopping the land from sinking? Because that would be maintaining the status quo and maintaining the world government's power. It doesn't seem like Vegapunk was working on anything related to that. He was working on the internet. He was working on weather control for islands. Weather/climate control for islands. He was working on, of course, weapons at the command of the world government. Working on weapons development. Food replication. The world is sinking. So what? That actually throws a whole kind of new element into the treasure of the One Piece and what Roger and his crew found at the end of their journey. And it was too soon. Too soon. So Roger's crew found out the world was sinking. And that they were too soon to stop the world from sinking. too soon to stop the world from sinking, but now it's not too soon. Now it's about the right time. Too soon indicates that there's a correct time, a window for stopping the world from sinking. Is that even related? Maybe that's something that Roger and the gang found out and it was tangential. But it kind of feels like it wouldn't be tangential. It feels like it would be quite important. Finding out the world is sinking into the ocean. Too soon to stop it. Everyone assumed the too soon thing was related to Joy Boy. And it possibly could be. But then that brings up the question, how is Joy Boy going to stop the planet from sinking into the ocean? Joy is a sun god. Joy Boy, the ancient robot, Zunisha, Poseidon, the mermaid princess, Pluton, the ship, weapon, the ancient weapons. It kind of feels like there's nothing immediately off the top of the head that seems like it would be a force that could stop the entire planet from sinking. That's pretty big. That's not pretty big. That's catastrophic on a global scale. So how do you stop that? I'm here racking my brain about how the news that the world is sinking connects to other points in the story and what could possibly be done to stop it. But this does confirm one thing, at least, that by the end of series, the entire globe, the entire planet is at stake. Confirms that the entire planet is at stake. Oh, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, does this connect to the moon? Or moons, the multiple satellite planets around the One Piece world? Because when you think about it another way, if you don't think about it as the landmass is sinking into the ocean, but think about it as the ocean rising, well, the tides are controlled by the gravitational pull of the moon. So if the moons are responsible for the rising oceans, then would it be possible? Interesting. Would it be possible for people on the planet to go to the moon and do something to the moon to stop the moon from pulling the tides so that they don't keep rising and swallow the entire planet? Interesting. So that throws space into this, which is something that people have all expected, that at some point some interplanetary travel is going to have to take place outside of Animal's cover story where he went to the moon. What if on the moon, what if the Longhead tribe on the moon, what if the aliens on the moon built something, a machine or a weapon of some sort that is causing the water to rise on the planet and swallow up everything. There are currently beings living on the moon. So I don't think they would be having interest in what happens on the One Piece planet either way, good or bad. They wouldn't have an interest. But oof, it's this news has opened up so many doors. Now we go back to the question of end of series. Does the red line get destroyed? Now it seems like the goal is to prevent everything from sinking into the ocean. So if the goal is to prevent everything from sinking into the ocean, destroying this one giant landmass that encircles the globe seems like it would be antithetical to that goal. So does this mean that the red line being destroyed is off the table as an end of series event? That would be turn things quite on their ear. Because that has been one of the biggest and most enduring theories about the end of the series, is the red line being destroyed and the four blues uniting. So if that's not the case, it seems like that might not be the case anymore. They're destroying the red line. So end of series, Fishman Island being destroyed by Luffy. How is that going to be achieved? How is that prophecy going to come true? It used to be that Luffy would destroy the red line, and that would destroy Fishman Island. Now, if Luffy doesn't destroy the red line, how does Fishman Island get destroyed? There's possibility of outside forces, more outside forces coming to destroy Fishman Island, and Luffy being connected to those outside forces. That seems like kind of an outside chance. It has to be something like a natural disaster. It has to be a consequence of some action Luffy is taking, an action that Luffy has to take. And taking it has the unintended side effect consequence of Fishman Island being destroyed. So what actions are we talking about here? I mean, there is the possibility of Luffy, taking an action that maybe it's not all of the red line. What if it's just a portion of the red line? Like a portion of the red line that Mary Jo is on. If that is destroyed, if that crumbles and falls, it could destroy Fishman Island. It would create a hole in the red line that ships, that water could flow through and ships could pass through. So that's a possibility. Rather than destroying the entire red line, just a section of the red line ends up being destroyed. It could also be as simple as debris, as small, well, relatively small amounts of debris from the red line crashing down onto Fishman Island and destroying it. It doesn't even have to be that the entire red line is blown up or a huge chunk is taken out of the red line, creating a hole in the red line. It could just be that pieces, regular battle debris, falls and destroys Fishman Island, even though it seems like that would be unlikely. It seems like it would probably take an extraordinary amount of debris, which would probably be a chunk coming out of the red line at the very least. Then there's also, like, on real outside terms, what if the moon, one satellite of the One Piece planet got blown up or otherwise destroyed? Debris from that satellite falls onto the One Piece planet. A chunk could fall into the ocean and crush Fishman Island. That's now a possibility because we're looking at how to stop the oceans from rising. And one of the possible ways is somehow interfering with the planetary forces, gravity that is controlling the tides and ocean levels in the One Piece world. It seems kind of out there, but it's possible. Then there's just too many questions. So I'm going to try to wrap this up here before I think of another tangent and go off on that. So thanks so much for watching. Please like and comment and subscribe. I will catch you all in the next chapter. Peace.